How's everyone doing? Enjoying Dubai, hopefully. It was a wonderful week. Dubai is a beautiful place to be. And super excited about today's talk because I'm going to actually say something very bold. But before saying that, I just want to say that as an industry, we stand on the shoulders of giants in cryptography and the distributed computing, but also in my team, I personally stand on the shoulder of giants with our amazing research team and also my co-founder, Josh, who came up with many of these protocols and also SUPRA. So I wanted to mention that first as a humble statement before I say something very bold. And that bold statement is that we believe that SUPRA is the ideal place and operating system for AI agents in blockchain and in Web3. So I think most of us can agree that we've seen AI increase in use cases, and more people are using AI on a daily basis to improve their workflow, et cetera. And at SUPRA, we see and we predict that most people will have an assistant, like a Jarvis, a personal assistant on a daily basis to help us perform and efficiently and do different tasks. And also, we believe that this personal Jarvis or AI assistant will also be helping us as a financial assistant to help grow your wealth, to protect your assets, to understand your risk profile, and to create and execute strategies for you. So how do AI agents work? Well, first of all, they need to be able to sense. They need to have data, and especially good data to be able to sense. And they need to be able to act on that and create strategies based off of that real-time and historical data. And then finally, they need to be able to execute an if this, then that automation. They need to execute automation. So it's a mixture of sensing, thinking, and acting. So how does this work in Web3 with the current infrastructure? Well, it's actually dependent on oracles for price feed data, and also a mixture of oracles and bridges to be able to deliver that data in a timely manner. Of course, thinking is dependent on large language models to turn intent into automation. And then acting is dependent on a protocol to automate your strategy. So we believe at SUPRA that there's an infrastructure gap. There are some problems in the way that infrastructure is built today, specifically in the modular world, where it causes issues of, well, less shared security, but also increased latency that leads to toxic MEV and, in our opinion, worse execution quality. So sensing is done through most DeFi protocols and increasingly more AI agents. Sensing is done through off-chain oracles. This is a separate protocol. So you have a layer one like Solana or Aptos, and this DeFi protocol or this AI agent is using this external oracle to be able to sense data. And there's a latency aspect here that it causes problems. And of course, thinking, being able to understand the data and then executing based on off-chain automation. So that's another protocol with a separate set of security assumptions and a separate set of latency that's added to that. So what are we doing at SUPRA that's different? At SUPRA, we believe in vertical integration, that vertical integration fixes this issue. And in AI, if you talk to an AI researcher or professional, which I am not, they will tell you that AI works in this way as well. You need to really vertically integrate AI models for them to work efficiently. And the same argument that we will make is that you need vertical integration with AI agents in Web3 to be able to have the best execution quality for these AI agents. And so what does this look like on SUPRA? So the sensing part is not using external Oracle protocols, but building it in natively into the L1 itself. So having an L1 that has native oracles that can be able to get real-time price feeds as well as having index data, that historical data that they can pull from via on SUPRA via OpenBlocks.ai, which is a company that we acquired for this purpose. So this ability to sense, sensing through AI agents, interacting with live data feeds and real world events, using OpenBlocks. And of course, with SUPRA, you have a high throughput, fast finality smart contract platform with cross-chain communication. And finally, the cherry on top here is that you also need to have system level automation. So automation shouldn't be done by an external protocol. The same with on the Oracle level is that when you have an external protocol for Oracle and external protocol for automation, it adds latency and worse execution quality. So the vertically integrated stack looks like this. You have integrated intelligence via OpenBlocks.ai. You have native Oracle feeds, cross-chain communication, and a high throughput L1, and system-level automation. So SUPRA's automation is where agents can act in movement with the market. So agents should see live price feed data. They should also have historical data. Other data that we're going to be introducing at SUPRA is understanding, real-world asset data as well as sentiment analysis. All these things are really important. All executed natively without any delays or bot delays or external protocols. And our argument here is that when you have native automation, if you're using the automated task, your execution will always go before any external trading firm or person. So when you execute a native automation at the L1 level, you can execute a transaction before anyone else, guaranteed. And we call this zero block delay execution. If you're using external protocols, you can't, within one block of an L1, one block of a transaction, do such complex of a transaction. You have different conditions that are met through the Oracle data that you sense from. You have the user transaction, and you have the automation and execution of that all on one block. And this is really where the magic happens. So I mentioned before, OpenBlocks.ai is a platform that we purchased. And OpenAI is able to index multiple chains data across many different chains and many different DeFi ecosystems. And you can be able to, on OpenBlocks, speak your intent and create trading strategies. And this information actually helps the AI agents build strategies on SUPRA and execute them before any other market participant. So how do SUPRA agents work? Once again, we have native Oracle feeds, built-in bridges, and also index data via OpenBlocks data. Agents are able to think and create strategies in real time according to this data, and natively automate and trigger these executions on SUPRA. So native, fast, secure agent loop. It's interesting, my co-founder, about a year ago, we were talking about how Intense started to become popular about a year ago. But we were thinking, my co-founder was actually not really in support of the future of Intense. And this was for a couple reasons. One is that AI didn't advance as much as it is this year. But also because a lot of L1s and a lot of protocols and DeFi protocols are built in a modular way. And the problem with this is when you built in a modular way and you're getting Oracle price feed here, you're getting an automation task from this protocol, there's a lot of delays. And what happens is, toxic MEV. When someone knows your intent before you can execute it, someone's going to trade against you. Someone is going to sandwich attack you. And so actually, we were a little bit standoffish on intent-based automation last year. But with the rise of AI and having a fully integrated blockchain, an L1, where you can execute faster, if you can basically execute your intention faster than anyone else, then intent automation looks really, really attractive. So being able to speak your goal and not making a command. So for example, if I have a certain risk profile and I communicate with my agent and I said, well, if the market all of a sudden, if Bitcoin goes to this price and the fear and greed index is over here, and some other event happens over there, put 50% of my assets into stables, something like this. But of course, you're going to be communicating with your AI, and your AI is probably going to give better recommendations than maybe what you would just give it itself. So what can AI agents do with SUPRA? You can auto hedge and protect your capital. You can optimize yield opportunities. For example, you can say that I want to have the best yield with this risk profile across all of the different ecosystems, except this ecosystem, because I don't trust them. And it'll do that. So maximize yield opportunities according to your risk profile. I would say that most people in this room and in general have a low risk tolerance, and that's fine. And I think the AI agent could optimize based off that. Automated governance, gamified savings, and simplified DeFi access. So why SUPRA beats other platforms? Well, most L1s are just ledgers. They don't integrate Oracle, cross-chain communication, and automation. It's not integrated. They're just simple ledgers. And so when DeFi protocols or AI agents want to operate in Solana, Solana itself, as well as Aptos, these are really high throughput chains. Same with SUPRA. But the key difference here is that SUPRA natively at the system level has Oracle data and automation. And so we can do so much more, and AI agents can be able to execute and have better execution quality on SUPRA because of that. So how will developers benefit? Well, when you vertically integrate and have all these services on one stack, it's easier for developers to build. They don't need to set up their dApp on an L1, and they don't need to use an external Oracle for price feeds, external Oracle for automation, external bridge. You can do all of that on SUPRA in one stack. So it's easier for developer. It's also the validators on SUPRA are doing more than just validating transactions and smart contracts. They're also doing the Oracle data and the automation and cross-chain communications. So that means that you have shared security on these different levels. Whereas if you're using external protocols, you have now a broken security system. Your app is as secure as the weakest link. And it's interesting because when we look at the current status quo of today, these DeFi applications kind of look like Franken-style dApps. You're on the L1, you got this Oracle here, and you got this automation over here. Whereas on SUPRA, it's really on one vertically integrated stack, and it is more efficient that way. It's more scalable, and you build one once and you run it forever. So the bold statement that I made is that SUPRA is the operating system for AI finance. Because just like in AI, for AI to work efficiently, you need a unified stack, you need vertical integration. And so for us to have AI agents in DeFi, you need a vertically integrated stack for that AI agent to execute with the best execution quality. So our native, automation is just live on testnet. So we actually went live with our token generation event in November, and we went live with mainnet. We were the third move-based mainnet to go live after Aptos and Sui. We're going to be multi-VM chain. EVM testnet will be coming in the next couple of months. So we'll have actually multiple VMs on one network. It's interesting, Vitalik recently made an article about Ethereum's potential future of being a multi-VM platform under RISC-V. So you'd have a RISC-V framework, and you would have EVM, and then the next programming language and virtual machine they're thinking about is Move. We've actually already have been doing this. So it's great to see Vitalik also seeing this vision. And I think Ethereum definitely should follow Solana, Aptos, Sui, SUPRA, and really scaling the L1. Thank you, everyone.